Welcome to iRose, and on this channel we talk about addiction and life after addiction, because yes, there is life after addiction. My name is Dimitra and I'm nearly 5 years sober from Adderall and other drugs that I had a problem with, and I wanted to make this video, having this long-term sobriety, nearly 5 years, July 6th. Yeah, I just wanted to share because I think that there's some things here that I've never heard people talk about long-term side effects. And this is mostly just my experience. And then I'll also be mentioning some other common side effects, long-term side effects that can occur from stimulant abuse. We can say stimulant abuse or misuse or overuse. There can be like a stigma against the word abuse, but I mean, I kind of identify with that. I'm okay with that, but I know just in general, it can be a stigmatizing word. So we can say overuse as well as misuse. Just also to let you know, I abused Adderall and cocaine. I'm like 11 years sober from cocaine and 5 years almost from Adderall. I won't be mentioning how much I used. I don't ever mention that in any of my videos. I don't find that it's helpful. I actually think it can be triggering and just not, useful, because it doesn't really matter. Just know that I misused it. I also wanted to say that I have a video on my Adderall withdrawal symptoms. And so if you want to check that out, it's this video here. Yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I want to mention is weight gain. And at first that was tough with me. I've struggled with an eating disorder. I'm also 5 years bulimic free. Yay! I talk about that in some of my videos as well. But yeah, gaining weight, that was tough for me at first. I'm actually continuing to gain a little bit of weight. And that's okay too. And I think there's a lot of factors with that, but really related to the Adderall use was that increased appetite. And yeah, so I know that can be tough for people a lot of times, that just gaining the weight, that's something that, they want to use it as like a weight loss drug. For me, I've had to work on acceptance. Someone who struggled with body dysmorphia since I was like 15 years old, actually no, I was younger than that, without knowing it. But yeah, I mean, it can be tough. So I want to just talk about that and normalize that too, that I would much rather have gained the weight than still be on that drug and still be having those other effects from the drug. So I'm really happy where I'm at right now with that. Another long-term side effect is just the notice of decreased motivation and focus. That's something I struggled with so much. I mean, going from being on Adderall to not, it was just like, okay, how do I even live? It was just really hard for me to accept at first, but it's gotten better. Like, my motivation has increased so much over time, but I think I was at blame for that too, because a lot of that was the resistance that I held, just saying like, okay, no, there's got to be something for me to use that can help. And I had tried other like nootropics, other things like that, and it didn't help. And I still struggle with my attention. That's something I'll always struggle with. But I think just having that mindset of that acceptance really helped me. Okay, one of the biggest things from long-term misuse of Adderall was my mental health, how much Adderall impacted my mental health. It wasn't just Adderall, it was also cocaine. I used cocaine for like 1 to 2 years. It wasn't as nearly as bad as my Adderall use, but the effects that it had on my mental health were detrimental. I struggled so much with that. I had increased anxiety and panic attacks. I started getting OCD intrusive thoughts that I couldn't control. They were repetitive over and over again, something called pure OCD, which I want to talk about because I still have these things. I still have anxiety. I still have OCD intrusive thoughts, but they have gotten so much better. Like, can I reiterate that? Like, so much better than when I was using. And so I just want to say that, yes, I do believe that they cause brain damage, some nerve cell damage in my brain, but that it has gotten better and I have coping skills and I'm able to manage that so much better. So just going through that experience and seeing how far I've come is incredible. And I just want to shed hope and share that, because I think it's really important to have that hope too, and just know that our brains are neuroplastic, meaning that yes, when something happens to them, they can be impacted, like with brain scans you can see, but getting off those drugs, they can repair themselves. Something else related to mental health is mood. And I noticed when I quit Adderall that my mood was really low. That improved a lot. I was kind of like in a depression before after, but that improved with time, and I don't have depression at all. I do get normal sadness and like PMS stuff, that's just normal, but as far as depressive, no, I don't have that. So I'm really thankful for that. So that's a common long-term side effect for people. So the next one is something that I've talked about recently, which was my caffeine. Just that there's a sensitivity to caffeine for me, and that's something that I recently quit, and I just made a video on here. So the caffeine I had to quit because I noticed, first of all, my anxiety was so bad. I don't know what it is exactly, but there's just a sensitivity to caffeine. Yeah, I just see it with the caffeine, and my brain reacts to it like it is like Adderall or something. So I just stay away from caffeine. Another thing related to caffeine, which I've never heard anyone talk about, and I forgot to mention it in my Adderall withdrawal video, but it's increased phlegm. I noticed this with Adderall use, that I just had, like, I would always be swallowing. I always felt like I needed to swallow, and that was with Adderall use. And I noticed it with caffeine use as well, that there's always this need to swallow, and like, it's just really irritating. Yeah, that's a long-term side effect, is like the sensitivity to caffeine in a physical way with phlegm. Because there's no actual phlegm, but it's like this feeling like there is, you know. Another major long-term side effect of Adderall misuse is an overactive bladder. I've never heard anyone talk about this. The lining of the bladder can be damaged from Adderall or stimulant misuse, and just knowing that that is a long-term side effect I was not aware of, and that it's something that I've noticed over the last 5 years has gotten worse. Just like I noticed with during the night, just having to go like 2 or 3 times a night. And yeah, that's something that I'll continually have to deal with. What can also happen is that it can cause inflammation of the bladder, and that can be a long-term effect as well. So yeah, that's something that you probably didn't want to know, but I wanted to share it because maybe other people can relate and know that this is why, and you're not alone. The last one that I wanted to mention for my personal experience is my improved sleep. Wow, you know, before I would go multiple days without sleeping. I would have the worst sleep schedule before when I was in active use. And now it's like I have great sleep. I can fall asleep quickly and stay asleep. You know, I've learned to adjust with the overactive bladder, of course. Thankfully, but that's, you know, that's whatever. But yeah, improved sleep so much. And what does that mean? You know, that is the foundation for mental health. So that means that my mental health is improved so much because of my sleep. My mood is increased because of my sleep too. So those were my personal long-term side effects of Adderall overuse. I also wanted to mention other common side effects, which is an increased risk of heart attack, stroke, and as well as increased chances of high blood pressure. Those are also just some common ones that can be affected, and I wanted to mention those too. So that concludes this video. I wanted to mention that I will be taking a little bit of a break from making videos, just because I'm going to be starting some supervision to be a therapist. And so I'm studying for an exam that I have to take to be a licensed therapist. Right now, there are 33 states that there's a pact. It's like a counseling compact, it's called. You know, the goal is to be able to provide virtual telehealth in the states that allow it, and that's really exciting. So I just want to update you with that, and maybe, you know, you're on this path too, and that's something you didn't know about, and like to be a licensed therapist. Yeah, I don't know, it's cool. There's a lot of stuff I didn't know when I started my master's degree that I was going for to be like a licensed mental health. I didn't really know all that it entailed, but starting out as a counselor and then getting the supervision and being a therapist. So these are my goals, and I want to share that with you, hopefully to inspire. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.